Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with our reaction and review for House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 6. There was so much content in this episode. We really bounced around the Seven Kingdoms, but in particular, they decided to start this episode up with a lot of drama and not so much a big surprise that it happened when it came to Criston Cole, but I did not think it was going to be coming to pass in like the first quarter of this week's installment.
This was a really short scene that feels like this should have just been the end of the last episode. It was kind of strange to start this episode off with that, to just, kill him off. And how many of us actually feel satisfied by this? Raise your hands. Okay.
One finger.
I'm not as satisfied as I thought that I would be. I think that there's a lot of us in the fandom, both Team Green, Team Black. Nobody wants to have this guy part of their team. We're all just like, oh, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see his demise. And it was very similar to Jace's, where he just ate a bunch of arrows out of the blue, not really expecting it, that some archer on the side was like, enough talk, more action, let's rock, and just took him out. And I was just like, that's it. I felt kind of unsatisfied. Like, I'm glad he's not on the show anymore, but at the same time, that's it.
Yeah, it's okay to have a lot of complicated emotions about all of this, because like my initial reaction was I laughed because it was funny. I thought it was funny that he was like, honor, we're going to do it this way. I will take on 2 of your minutes. Just like, okay, finally.
Narrow.
Yeah, somebody finally shut this guy up. I'm happy about that. But then once you get past like the little laugh, I think everything else does start to fall apart a little bit. And you kind of have to wonder, like, how did House of the Dragon, the show, feel about this character and their investment in him, given that he has been around since the very start?
Yeah, and then we also had this moment with this handkerchief from Alicent that he's like wrapping around the sword, and it's like the last shot that it's still there. I'm just like, okay, yeah, these guys had something going on, but it's not as serious as Cole is making it out to be, and it never really actually felt that serious after it all broke up for Cole. He hasn't been going through this whole show holding on to her, that there's been reminder of this. And when he pulled the handkerchief out, I was like, oh, you still have that?
It took me a second too. It took me like, okay, if this has been on your mind, why are you not hearing about this? Like,
ever.
Yeah, and also, why are you not making it at least somewhat your goal to try to find your way to get back to her, as opposed to the, I just want to go out in a blaze of glory. I do not care about anyone else who is serving under me in the process.
Yeah, we have this and so much more to talk about. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are here after every episode of House of the Dragon talking all about the show. So stick with us.
Yeah, and also thank you to everyone who is joining our YouTube memberships, because over there, Jess and I are doing exclusive House of the Dragon videos and theories all season long. We have 2 really fun discussions on there already, including, is Massaria a witch? We go through all the evidence of that. And this past week, we've done a video about Daron and the mystery of his hair color. Why is he not platinum blonde like the rest of his siblings? This has been a very hot topic among parts of the fandom, and we did a really, really big deep dive on that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined. And we have more House of the Dragon theories and discussions coming up with our YouTube memberships.
Thank you, guys. Okay, let's just talk more about Criston Cole, because yes, we can celebrate that this guy sucks and it's great that he's not a part of the show anymore, because it's like it was a waste of time at a lot of moments. It felt like
it was just frustrating to watch. And I think it's important that shows do have somebody like this, that the whole fandom can get together and be like, we just unanimously do not like this character. And by the time you get to that death, it usually is a lot more satisfying.
Yeah, and the problem I'm struggling with here is that while it produced a couple of chuckles, like the way in which this happened, where it did feel sudden and inconsequential, and it doesn't really feel like that many other characters from this scene are going to be important down the road. Because, I mean, Gwen had already pieced out of this situation, that it kind of just feels like House of the Dragon threw their hands up and was like, you know what? we failed with this character. We didn't really understand what we wanted to do with him. We needed to get him off screen because we don't know what to do with them moving forward. And
And our audience hates him.
I actually feel the worst right now for the actor
Yeah.
because it's hard playing a character who nobody really seems to
Right.
like. And like, this guy's in task. Like, he is a good actor
He is.
he just got stuck with this character who is really, really unlikable for most of the run. I'm sure he was excited to come back, play a part in this season again, see what was coming up. For him to just get this script and it's like, oh, this is how I die. I get this awesome fight sequence where I take out all these
Yes.
people and then I just get randomly arrowed. It's like, okay, I've spent all this time on this show for that.
My feeling on it was just, I just saw this exact same death at the beginning of this season with Jace, where, he just got randomly arrowed too. Archer was like, oh, I have a chance to take a shot. I'm going to take 10.
Yeah.
And then here we are again, the same thing. Oh, I have a chance to take a shot. I'll take a couple.
Yeah. And I think coming out of this, the only thing I can really center on is that, okay, Criston Cole was so arrogant and full of himself that his own plan caused Gwen to leave. And that brought Gwen over to Tumbleton where he was able to be around Ormond. And it's like, I guess that's the one carryover of this to everything else.
Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering if the show just really wanted it to take away Cole's satisfaction, because he did try to be like, hey, if I'm gonna end up getting killed or whatever, can you let my people go? No, you're all gonna go. All right, let's go. And he said he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, and he didn't get it. He just got a couple arrows over, and the rest of his crew got to go out in a blaze of glory. So he didn't even get the one thing that he wanted. And I guess that's a tiny bit satisfying, but it wasn't satisfying enough for me.
Yeah, that's, yet another, I guess, tiny chuckle at the larger scheme of everything that, we just weren't meant to take Cole seriously at the end of all this. And maybe we weren't meant to take anything associated with Aegon seriously in that shape or form.
Well, here's the thing with Gwen now. I'm actually starting to get more on board with him
Oh,
after
okay.
seeing him now return. He's tired. Ormond's like, well, why didn't you stick with anyone? Why would I do that? I've just told you what's going on there. I'm not ready to just die for no reason. Like, I'll die if I need to, but not just because Cole wants a blaze of glory moment. Like, this is not the way that it's going to go. I just, I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to regroup in the morning. And then seeing everything that happened with the fake Baratheons that came in, he was just able to take them out and protect Daron. I really like Daron, so I don't want anything to happen to him. And seeing the connection between the two of them, where Darren was just like, man, I really rely on you and you left me. Like, you can't leave me again. Like, come on, man. And, Gwen's really seemingly trying to be a good, we'll call him role model or parental figure type person, good uncle, and just be like, I'm doing the best that I can. Ormond isn't going to hurt you in any kind of way. He thinks that you're going to be the king. So as long as he keeps thinking that, good things are going to continue to happen for you.
I'm starting just to have this larger question about House Hightower in general, and this might be a hot take, but is House Hightower, with a couple of notable exceptions that we'll get to, like one of the more reasonable houses in all of the Seven Kingdoms? Because Gwen seems like a reasonably normal person who was there for Daron, and he debated going back to Old Town. He ended up helping. Like, Alicent, I think, is a reasonable person who, yeah, I know she's lied. I know she's gone through some difficult stuff, but she's always had her back against the wall in one way or another. And I just look at those two and I'm like, you guys somehow also came from the same house as Otto, who was one of the biggest schemers that we've ever had.
Yep.
And then Ormond, who just plain out sucks, and I hate him, and I want the worst thing to happen to him. I mean, he's entertaining, but it's just like, how are you guys all related?
I think that's just the way it is with both the houses, as well as just families in general, right? You've got people that are good eggs in there. They're just trying to do the right thing or trying to figure their way through things where, yeah, they're making some bad decisions, but they're also making some good decisions. That's the same on Team Green, but it's also the same on Team Black.
I think with Wayne, we're just seeing him sort of fly by the seat of his pants at this point, but because,
Right.
he is a reasonably good person and he cares about Daron. So obviously he did not want the fake House Baratheon to end up being the demise of his entire family. But, you go out of this situation now, and Ormond is even angrier about everything that's happened, and he wants to, of course, instill even more chaos and try to do some more stuff that way. But that's not necessarily something that Gawain wants or is
Mhm.
down for. He doesn't want to force Daeron in that position. But what else can he do now?
That Baratheon scene was so good, and they
Yes.
set it up so well in this episode where we saw other Baratheons going to Rhaenyra and being like, "Oh yeah, we're here, we're representing, we're here to see how it's going." Then we have this second set that shows up over here for Ormond. I'm like, House Baratheon, what are you guys doing? You guys are just sending representatives to both sides to be like, wherever they end up, we'll be on the winning team. We'll just send people to both sides. That's what I thought they were doing until Gawain was like, no, 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 this is nobody.
The funniest thing, I believed that was what was happening.
I believed it.
And I think the reason why is we've been conditioned that the House Baratheon in the Game of Thrones extended universe here. I mean, we had Lionel over on Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and that guy's like a total hot mess all of the time. Yeah, you're beloved. And
I
then
love him.
we have Robert over on Game of Thrones,
No.
and such a great ruler.
Man's
Robert was just
messy.
like, that entire family is a mess. So I could totally buy in that they would play both sides, hoping
Yep.
that, whoever came out on top, they would be
They're
okay
part of
with.
it.
Yeah, like that whole scene there was the action part of it, but it's also really weirdly funny. Everything with Ormond and his smell fixation. I mean, maybe it's juvenile, but it has made me laugh harder than anything else on the show so
Yeah.
far this season, because it also, to me, feels like it's foreshadowing, because Ormond, like, somebody who's showing up this late in the show, like, he can't win at the end of all this. He's gonna die in like the most rancid way possible, where he's just gonna have some sort of like horrible smell right before it goes down.
Okay, let's talk about my guy Aemond, because it feels like things might be kind of coming together for him. We had everything that happened with Alice, where he came out and saved her. She has saved him. They've had that conversation where they've kind of both been there for each other. They're both, loners and rebels in this world, and they don't fit anywhere. Maybe they can sort of fit together. This is a great move for Alice, because if she, the whole Harrenhal is here for whoever can capture Aemond. And if she can capture him in another way, she's just thinking, we can both stay here and we can rule Harrenhal together, that maybe things will work out. We can find a place for both of us. I get my castle, I get you as my man, and we'll just figure it out together.
The funniest thing about this dynamic to me is that it actually feels like Alice and Aemond may be able to achieve what Ormond, if Ormond wasn't out of his mind, could have actually tried to do here, which is just sit back, let all these other sides fight each other, like let them cause all of this damage and destruction, and then find a way to swoop in once you gather your strength. I mean, that's something Alice mentioned multiple times, allow Aemond a chance to recover, and then you can emerge as this alternative, because like really Aemond doesn't need that many people anymore, and nor should he want that many people anymore. Aegon is a terrible person. His mother has basically decided, all right, Rhaenyra, let's just have you be queen at this point. We've got everything with Orm. Like, Aemond, he's well trained. He is smart. Yes,
Yep.
he does have his issues. These have been documented so far this season, but like at the same time, I do think he cares. I don't think he is like some terrible, terrible person. He's just had a lot of bad things happen to him, so he's just got a lot of axes to grind.
Yes, he does. There's a lot of people on his hit list. And while I'm sure Alice is thinking, hey, we could just stay here and rule Harrenhal for an eternity together. We don't necessarily need to go and do everything else with this. You're just one guy. Yes, you have a big dragon, but Rhaenyra has a pile of dragons.
Yeah.
So unless you're able to really sit, get through this, and regroup, you just going off and finding your dragon and flying out there is just death for no reason. So let's take a breath.
I think the one concern here is that is Aemond going to be capable of this in the long term?
I think so. He's a strategist, so I think he can.
I hope he can. Like, it's obviously the best thing for him, and I do not want to lose Aemond at any point in the near future. This is like, Ormond, we're not invested. I'm invested in Aemond. Even if he makes me angry, I don't want him to be gone anytime soon.
I don't either, but now we're in this like really kind of miserable situation where Alicent and Helena were found in the wall,
Yeah.
which is no surprise. She has sat down with Rhaenyra and has told her the truth. Okay, listen, Helena is pregnant. We didn't know what to do. If it's a son, this is somebody who could threaten your throne. So we just figured you're probably going to kill them. And we just didn't want to deal with that. Rhaenyra's like, you don't know me. You think you know me, but I could have and would have maybe made other decisions. But you know what? Aemond is still out here and I do need to deal with him. And Alicent's like, I think I know where he is. Cool, bet. I'm going to send you out there with one other person that I know can actually beat him. So this is now what you're going to do. I will take care of Helena and this grandchild coming in a way to basically be like, I'm going to make sure that you do this because I'm going to have her here with me. And I love that Alicent turned around and was like, we had this conversation. You remember?
Mhm.
We just had this conversation. I told you you were going to end up in this spot where you were going to have to do or say or think very dark things and put them away in your mind somewhere. And here you are at the same line I was.
Yeah, and this is really dark, and it could get way, way worse because I'm just sitting back at this point, in particular with Helena, where it feels like there was a little bit of just dark foreshadowing that was going on with this character in this episode,
Yeah.
where she just doesn't really have any will anymore. Like,
Nope.
she's struggling to eat, she's having a really, really hard time keeping it together. Like,
Yep.
she eventually does enough so that Alicent can feel like she's going to leave, but like my pit in my stomach is that, all right, she did some of this so that she's not going to have someone watching over her the same way. Yes, Rhaenyra said, I will look out for Helena, but it's like she's queen. Like, she can't be around Helena every single second of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be getting dark for Helena. I really believe that. We already started to see some of the signs of this,
Yeah.
and especially when she really called out Alicent for lying to her.
And this is also then going to put Alicent in this really, really tragic position where I am going to feel for this character. Like, yes, she's done some bad things, but I mean, let's just all think about this for a
Everyone
moment.
on this show has done bad
Yes.
things except Helena.
Everybody is out here doing bad things. She's already lost so much. Now she's going to go out here to try to find Aemond where something terrible could happen to Aemond. Then she's going to, presumably if she gets to come back, she's going to come back only to then be released. But then Helena may not even be there anymore. Like, she may lose like almost the entirety of her family.
Yeah, I think that Rhaenyra knows that there is a good chance that Alicent is just not going to end up coming back because for all they really know, they know that, Aemond is there. They don't know where Vhagar is in the wind, could be anywhere, could come back at any minute, especially if Aemond is taken out. All of a sudden, oops, here's Vhagar. Oops, there goes Alicent.
It just feels like, I know Rhaenyra has a history with Alicent. Maybe this will weigh on her. It's just like,
Yeah.
she has to become someone different than who she wanted to be. And she's starting to recognize this. And I think this
Yeah.
is going to lead to an even bigger ripple effect where she could isolate herself more and more. I don't want to see her become Daemon. Let's make that very, very clear. But just even the idea Missaria is even keeping something from her now, which legitimately surprised me. We know how secrets work in a show like this. Like, this has to come out at some point, right?
Maybe. I mean, she is having that maid killed. So, I mean, she might actually be able to get away with this. It's going to all end up being a possible she said if Alicent's like, yeah, she knew, and White Worm is like, no, I didn't. That at that point Rhaenyra's really gonna have to look at it and be like, who is really telling me the truth? I think White Worm really heard what Alicent said, where she was just like, she's gonna pick Daemon every time. This
Yeah.
is not just her husband, this is also her family. Like, there is no way she is gonna pick you. So, like, if you want to just kind of keep the door open to other people, then you should do that.
It is a move she made with that in mind. It's obviously still very much a risk and something we'll
Yeah.
have to see play out. Like, my concern here is just I don't want to see Rhaenyra have to go back to Daemon and Daemon be like, I was right. I knew you should have never gotten as close to her as you,
Yeah.
because it's like Damon really shouldn't have the satisfaction for all that much of anything. And he is facing some of it at this point anyway with the gold cloaks.
I'd be okay with Damon having that opinion of that to be like, I told you so, because he already went through some of this with White Worm. So he has personal experience that this is not the way to go and tried to warn her. So, if Rhaenyra doesn't want to hear it, she's got to figure that out for herself. And eventually, I think she will.
Here is, I think, my real issue with you, Damon, is that yes, you may be right, but your delivery in almost all things is really, really bad, including your delivery with the gold cloaks in this episode to sort of be
Yeah.
like, these people aren't getting paid. And it's one thing to
And they're
kind of,
dying.
yeah, you want to lead with honor. I get all that. It's an important position. But the idea of like, when they're already down on their luck, for you to go in there and be like, you're all a bunch of cowards. I don't like you. Like, that's not going to allow them to be like, oh, I'm really inspired to keep our jobs now, Damon.
Yeah, no, that was a rough speech. And I understand that things are going really sideways for Damon right now.
Yes.
And he's in a position that he normally is never in, which is, just he's falling behind. He is losing this fight and
Yeah.
he does not know. For him, he can fight an enemy that he actually sees, but he can't when he doesn't see them.
It just feels like we are slowly watching this escalation that is going to lead to something really terrible happening to Tumbleton, and Rhaenyra sort
Yes.
of losing whatever sort of luster she thought she was going to have, because it's just one move after another and it keeps getting bigger. It keeps getting more dangerous. I mean, we even have the cliffhanger at the end of this episode with what's going on now with Corlys, who is somebody who is supposed to be in the council, but is off, doing his own thing. And it's
And
just,
now he's what? Captured?
yeah,
Oh my God.
like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I think this is all Ormond on some ways. It keeps trying to bait her into doing these other things, into becoming somebody who she claims that she doesn't want to be. Like, I do still wonder here, Ormond, do you really want to keep poking this bear because you're trying to force this outcome that would probably lead to you and a lot of other people being dead? I mean, I guess you win the moral argument, but does it really matter at that point?
Yeah, but if he wins and he actually gets Darren on the throne, then, he's going to feel like he's the puppet master because he's been making this happen this whole time. And Darren is scared of him. So even as king, Ormond's really the king.
All right, now let's just transfer briefly over into the things that make us go, moment of this episode. And congratulations, Bela and Alan. You guys have won. This is not a trophy. I don't know what this is. It's just, let's just leave the room.
Yeah, I was actually expecting this to happen with Adam, like last episode where they were kind of like trading barbs back and forth. I was like, okay, maybe this might end up being something. This for me just came out of like left field. I was like, oh, this is happening now. Okay.
It felt like a little bit of a surprise for the sake of a surprise, if I'm being honest. And it's like,
Yeah.
I know that this is a world where these sort of things happen between people who are related. Like, we can't be that surprised about it. But
No.
it is that idea that it seemingly came a little bit out of nowhere. There wasn't that sort of buildup. I mean, I think the show is probably trying to surprise us in some way with things that you think are going to happen are really going to happen in this different. Like, a good example of this is like, I've been spending weeks on this hill that, okay, Ulf is going to do something terrible. Ulf is going to end up leaving Rhaenyra's side, and that may still very well happen. But here it's actually Hugh who ultimately is just like, you know what? I'm going to play dress up. I'm going to go into Tumbleton. Like, I'm going to be the person who is going rogue more than anybody else.
And I understand why. He's not just going in to, get an ale. He's going in there to get his wife
Yes.
and to bring her out of there. But I totally understand why she's just like, cool, man. You went off and got your glory and got your dragon. And while that was happening, this was happening to me here. I would have rathered you just been here with me so that maybe these things wouldn't have happened to me at all. My brother would still be here. Everything would maybe be okay because you would be here to protect me, but you pieced out so that you could have glory. So well done. I don't want to be with you anymore. I was like, good for you.
Yeah, and my theory / fear at this point is that Hugh is just going to come to resent everything that he has been given, and he's going to try to blame all this on, oh, why did this happen? Why did I end up Rhaenyra, Team Black? It's all your fault, when it's like, you still made the choices you made.
Yes.
Like, you still put yourself in this position, but is he going to try then to blame somebody else? But where this gets really complicated then is it's like, okay, what is he going to do then? Join Ormond's side? It's just like, where's the
Yep.
incentive in all of that? Like, we still haven't spent that much time with Hugh unless he's really offered something, and maybe offered something related to his wife that maybe then he might actually get on board with flipping.
That's the thing, is that these three new dragon riders, we just haven't really spent that much time with them.
Yeah.
They're so side characters at this point that they're basically not part of the main story anymore.
No, they're really all we get are just these little nuggets of like, okay, we're really not that good at this. And all right, Ulf may die in some miserable way, and that's Adam. Adam seems like the best of them, and honestly, it's really not even close at this point.
Yeah, and we haven't even really gotten into this side quest that neither one of us have been enjoying that much, which is what is going on with Laris and Lannister. We got Aegon, they're all on the road, and I'm just like, I get to it. I appreciate that it takes a while to travel around in Westeros, and it should,
Yes.
because that isn't always the case with people traveling around Westeros. But this story is dragging. It is, for me, the new Daemon is in a damp castle for like 8 episodes.
Yeah, there are two very distinct get to the point already stories in this episode. And yeah, one of them is 100% Aegon, because it's just, I don't believe for a second this guy is going to Essos. Because if he goes to Essos, it's like, what's the point of any of this, of his story? He's just going to be
Right.
so far removed from everything. And I get it. Everyone hates him. He knows everyone hates him. So it's just like, why is he going to stay? But it's sort of at the same time, if this is where it is, it's kind of like with Criston. Why are we spending all this time to just kind of have like throw your hands up in the air, be like, that's sort of it for this story moment?
Yep.
And then there's Rhaena, and don't get me
Yep.
wrong, I love seeing the Moon Door. I love anything that connects
Moondor
this
was
show
good.
to really, really just like iconic parts of the lore. But it feels like this whole story is, all right, Rhaena, you did too much. You're being punished for it. Now go away again. And it's just, okay, are you inspiring Rhaena to do something else? Because I hope that's the case. Because if not, we really didn't need to see this.
Well, this is the thing, and this is why I had said Damon should have just not listened to her and been like, Rhaenyra will figure this out. It will be okay. We will figure it out together. We will go before her, tell her what happened, tell her it's an accident, what all the details, and it will be okay. You've got then her being like, no, I don't want to do that. I deserve this. I deserve this penance to sit in this cave with this dragon. Okay, well, you don't really believe that because
Yeah.
you just left the cave and, people could have seen you. They didn't, but you don't really believe what you're saying. And, your dad shouldn't have believed it either.
Yeah, she's just like wallowing in her pity, and I understand why. Like, what happened is really, really bad, but she's
But this
already.
is a long life.
It is a very, very long life. Like, why resign yourself to this when there is a chance at something else? Now, I mean, the hard part about where we are in the season right now, and I enjoyed this episode. It hasn't reached like the highs of the first 3 in a
Mhm.
little while, but it's just like, this is not a super long season. I hope we're building towards something big again here. I do not want another season 2 situation where we just end on a whimper and then we have to wait till the next season for something really big to happen
I
again.
mean, so far this season's been great,
Yes.
so I'm hopeful.
Let's just cross our fingers, but that is where we are coming out of House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 6. Let us know, what did you guys think about Criston Cole's death? Is it just thumbs up because Criston is gone? Did you want something more? And also join our YouTube memberships for our multiple theory discussions about, is Mysaria a witch, and what is going on with Daeron's hair color? Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
We will see you here next time.